What we are seeing here is the African lion, the symbol of Africa. In some ways, he is the symbol of the African male. That African male, wherever he is on the planet. But this lion is not the subject of this video. I call this video Jubilee. Only those with the knowledge and wisdom will understand why I call it Jubilee. There was a man called Marcus Garvey who started a movement which some refer to as the Back to Africa movement. He saw what has happened to the African male and female in the what we would call the West today. When I say West, I'm talking about countries ruled primarily by Caucasian people, or what we call European people. Now he saw the condition. It's not that he was the only one who saw the condition. Many people have seen that condition of the African male, of the African in general in the West. We can go back to slavery and see some of the events, read about them, study them, and see how they came about. Every slave revolt that we can think about or read about or we've heard about was a result of the maltreatment, the genocide that was carried out by the forefathers of the Caucasian. Not all Caucasians benefited financially from the genocide of the African man, of the African. But those who benefited put the African man, the African, in the same position as we see this lion is in. Some of you will probably not notice that the lion is captive. He's in a zoo where people come to look at him. People come to take photos of him. People come to, they're not saying we are here to laugh at you, but in a way they are. And it's the same with the African. People come to Harlem to see how the African in Harlem live. People go to Brazil to see how the African in Brazil live. People go to London, France, Paris to see how the African there live. And they go, of course, to Africa. And there they watch the African dance, jump, play the role of a hunter, but hunting nothing. The Jubilee, those of you who have the knowledge of it, you will understand why this caged lion and the Jubilee are connected. And I termed this video Jubilee because I don't want, it is not for every black man to know what it is. If it was for every black man to know what it is, you would have been told long ago. The book has been written. All the books have been written. Go back and read people like Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, there's a young lady named Miss Ali that she gave her life to teaching. Listen to people like this and you'll hear there is the book. The book is in them. A lot of you watched a movie called The Book of Eli and didn't realize that this movie was about a man. Everyone was searching for this book, but the book was the man. But back to my Jubilee. See, according to traditions that have been kidnapped and abused and used by other people, the Jubilee was a year of forgiveness. And it wasn't forgiveness of, it was a universal forgiveness. It was like a law that man was supposed to observe. All men. So it means that the whole universe observed this. People don't understand universal law, but there's some laws that are universal. It's like sunrise and sunset. Wherever you go in the universe, it's the same. Planets going around the sun. Their orbit is set. Sunrise and sunset. But the Jubilee. In the midst of the Jubilee, there's a war going on. And this war is going to settle a dispute. And when we go back to Marcus Garvey, we will see how the dispute is going to be settled. Read carefully how Marcus Garvey rose to prominence, and then how his life was destroyed. If you can understand that, you will understand how what is going on today, how it began, and how it's going to end. Marcus Garvey was destroyed by the intelligentsia. When I say intelligentsia, the people who we see honored from his time today, all the names that you see from the past black skinned men in America who have a name now. Some have schools named after them. When you read books about great black men, they're the ones featured prominently in the books. Those were the men who destroyed, who joined with the government to destroy Marcus Garvey. You see the same thing happening to Dr. Martin Luther King. People saw the bullet that killed him, but they didn't see the internal war that was going on around him. Especially when he began to see that, wait, I'm fighting for civil rights, but we can't have civil rights unless we fix this other problem. This civil rights thing is a human rights thing. It's a justice thing. Today, we have the same problem. "50 years after Martin Luther King, we have the same problem that Garvey had 15 years before Martin Luther King. And if we go back 50 years before Garvey, what do we find? Ta-da! A war in America. They called it the War to Free the Slaves. 50 years before that, now you get where I'm going? The Jubilee year